Nidan here for Applied Shotokan. This is a breakdown of the kata Heian Nidan. It's the second of the Heian series, and this is for my students training at home. Alright, so we have 26 movements in this kata. We'll go through slowly, bit by bit, and I'll give you some kind of pointers for the correct kata form and so on. So, we bow first to Heian Nidan. Announce your kata from a yoi position. Alright, so the first few movements we're doing in a kokotsudashi or back stance. So we have one. Right, so this is positioned like an agiyuke almost, a little closer to the forehead. And if we were to, from this position, leave our elbows where they are, extend, what we are doing is making a giant L. So if you did that in front of your bathroom mirror, leave your arms like a 90-degree angle, an L, bend, this is your finishing position. Another way to think about it is if this fist is kind of pointing to this wrist. Like this, not like that. Not like that, okay? We're basically making a box or a rectangle with our arms. All right, once again, one. Now from here, we have this kind of funny, strange motion. This hand feels like your soto orioke, your outside forearm block, as does this one. They feel like they're doing this, but instead of meeting here, we're kind of meeting here. So this elbow comes in front of this, inside this elbow. So we have 1 and 2. Okay, so 1 and 2. Try to rotate your shoulders a little bit towards the left at the same time, but don't let your back knee float in like this. 1 and 2. From there, we put our shoulders back where they came from. We have a left hammer fist strike, and your hikite comes to your hip. There's first 3 movements. The next 3 are exactly the same, going the other direction. So for your footwork, basically, I'm going to transfer my weight from my right leg to my left leg. I'm just going to go like this. Okay, and as I do that, 1, 2, 3, hands come towards the left hip, kind of in a cup and saucer position to my other side. 4, 5, 6. Now from there, we have a yorakanuchi, or a back fist strike, simultaneously executed with a yokogari kyage. So yokogari kyage, to be honest, not really my favorite kick for practicality, but it's uniquely a Shotokan kick. It's different than Kokomi or side thrust kick. In the Kyage, if you kind of practice like this, your knee comes aside and your foot kind of follows your knee like that. Kind of like equivalent to a back fist strike like this, as opposed to a thrusting motion. So a side thrust kick, your knee comes up here and your knee follows your foot. And this one, your foot follows your knee. Okay? And for the side kick, if you're walking on the edge of your feet like this, with your toes curled back, that's a finishing position. All right, let's go back to the beginning. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the footwork here, our back foot, my left foot is going to come to the center. So if you imagine your belt was really ridiculously long and it's dragging on the floor, this is where this foot is going to come. So it comes here. As I shift, I need to turn my body so my belly button is facing this direction. Hands go cup and saucer position. See how my torso has rotated. All right, so 4, 5, 6. Set up like this. As I do that, this foot is going to come up, point behind this way. From this cup and saucer position, we have your raken, same time as I execute this yokogari kyage or side snap kick. Preparatory motion, kick, sit up, and shuto. Let's look at that again. If you just learned this kata, that's a tricky one to learn. All right, so we have 4, 5, 6. Halfway, cup and saucer, set up, your rakanuchi, kyage. From here, your kicking leg steps behind you, set up, shutoke. And from here, it's really easy. Step forward, shutoke, and I'll back up, make sure I don't go off the screen here. And your first ki point, move at number 11, you're going to step forward in a zenkutsudashi, or front stance. You have the so-called pressing block, and this finishes to the center. Note the position of my arms. My hand is palm down. It's just above my elbow like this. This is to the center. All right, let's look at that sequence one more time. So again, I'm going to kind of shuffle around a little bit so I don't go off the field of view. So we had movement 6, sit up, 7, 8, 9, 10, pressing block, and nukite. Okay? Next 4 movements are really easy. It's the exact same thing as the end of Heian Shodan. You know, when you finish those 3 punches and you go 4 shutos, it's the same thing, but it's in the middle of the kata. All right, so from here we have shuto, 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 and shuto. Pretty simple stuff if you already know Heian Shodan. Let's look at that sequence again from start to finish up to movement 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, next sequence, we're going to use uchiuke, what I call inside forearm block because it's coming from the inside. Maybe you call it outside forearm block because it's going to the outside. Tomato, tomato, doesn't matter, it's the same movement. We have that uchiuke and we have a maigiri. Okay, so I'm going to flip it around. So instead of finishing like this, all right, I'm here. That way you can see what I'm doing. All right, so from here, the footwork, my front foot, not my back foot, is going to step over here. I shift my weight to this left foot and I twist my hips. This is yakuhamni, or reverse hip position. As I do that, the hand on the solar plexus is going to be my uchiuke. We set up under the elbow and we block. Note, I'm not half face, I'm not square face, I'm reverse face, or yakuhamni. And we're finishing here. Okay, one more time. From the shuto. There, uchiuke. Next, we have a kick punch. Kick, punch. Make sure you leave this in position as you kick. Don't drop this down like so, okay? Leave this here. I throw my maigiri. As I land, my left side yakuzuki. Okay, I'll shuffle back again. In place, I'm not going to make a step. My left arm is going to make uchiuke, okay? So from here, you can pull your front leg back a little bit to get that yakuhamni, that reverse hip. It makes it easier to get in that position. So this sets up here. We have our yakuhamni. Again, watch that front foot. There. Again, these little subtleties, this is the way I learned it in Shotokan. Maybe you have some different variations. Do what your instructor, what your sensei says. This is the way I do it. There's all kinds of right ways. Okay? So we have here. And again, we go kick, punch. Let's look at that sequence again. So after our 4 shutos, we have uchiuke, maigiri, yakuzuki. Set up to your right hip, uchiuke, yakuhamni, maigiri, yakuzuki. Okay, let's look at that sequence in its entirety in the correct orientation. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to go off camera here. 11, 4 shutos, 12, 13, 14, 15, and we have 16, kick punch, 17, 18, uchiuke, 19, 20, 21. Now from here, your next movement is called what's referred to as marate uke, or so-called augmented block. I'm going to turn around again. Okay, so we have here, you step forward, zenkutsudashi. Your hands, this right arm is going to feel like you're doing another uchiuke. It's like this. It comes to your left hip. We finish half face position. This arm is going to augment the position, so our pinky knuckle is inside the elbow like this. Okay? Again, that's the way I've learned it, and I continue to do it that way. So it looks like this. Stepping forward, finishing front stance, your so-called augmented block, or your marate uke. All right, I'll give you the correct orientation again. So we have this uchiuke. We have kick, punch, block, kick, punch, block. Now, from here, last 4 movements are pretty basic. We do a big turn, 270 degrees, Gedanbrai. There. Just like at the top of Heian Shodan from Agyuke, but this time we're doing it from here. Alright, set up, Gedanbrai. So, again, the way I learned this, and I think this is probably just to ensure you get back to the beginning. I don't concern myself with those kind of details, but the embusen, or the pattern that you follow on the mats, on the floor, if you start here, you're supposed to finish here. It's kind of a Japanese obsession, and you may or may not think that's important, but in order to achieve that, I put my right heel on this intersection here. These heels are going to be on the same seam, so it's kind of a narrow stance instead of your typical Zenputsu dashi. Okay, but from there, Gedanbrai, don't move your stance. Orient your gaze 45 degrees. Your Gedanbrai arm comes up like a Shuto position, like an open hand Agyuke. Then step 45 degrees, Agyuke. This arm is going to make Gedanbrai in this direction. Set up, Gedanbrai direction. Again, make sure you are in this narrow stance. From here, open hand Agyuke, step forward. There, that's the last move of the kata. Key points are the nukite and the very last movement. Let's go through that one more time slowly. Whole thing, 26 movements. 1, 2, 3. And that's the timing. We got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Other side. 4, 5, 6. Half step. Kapensasa. Kick. Step back. Shotokan. Shuto. Big motion when you're setting up for your shuto. Both arms to the purpose. Shuto. Pressing block. Nukite. Big motion. Shuto. 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 Move your front leg. Yakuhamni. Reverse hip. Kick and punch. Uchiuke. Kick and punch. Maratyuke. Gedanbrai. Agyuke 45 degrees. Gedanbrai. Another Agyuke. Right? And that's the end of your kata. Alright, let's try it one more time with some speed. And again, I'm going to try to keep my footwork as it should be. So I'm going to disappear at the top of the kata. I only have so much room here in the karate cabin. Always bow at the beginning. Announce your kata. Heian Nidan. Bow at the finish of your kata. So again, I want to reiterate a couple things. This is the way I've learned it. This is the way my sensei taught back to me back in the early 1990s. If you like it, do it that way, but always defer to your sensei's advice if he has any other subtleties that he wants to see or she wants to see in the dojo.